welcome to the Butler Beat. I'm Steph Wolfred. The fall semester at Butler is filled with annual events that many students look forward to. Watermelon Bus, put on by Lambda Chi Alpha, is one of those events because it combines fun with raising money for a good cause. Today I am talking with Kevin Odenwald and Mark Mattingly from Lambda Chi about Watermelon Bust. So guys, what exactly is Watermelon Bust?
Well, thanks for having us first, Steph. But Watermelon Bust is our fall philanthropy event. And basically how I like to describe it is like Watermelon Olympics for all the sororities to compete on campus. So basically we have a bunch of like random events that all include watermelons. So we have like watermelon pong, a watermelon like tug of war, all kinds of events like that. And then we have a lip sync, and a queen competition as well. So we crown a queen from one sorority at the end, and then all the sororities compete and make different dance routines for about 5 or 7 minutes. And they all kind of compete against each other, and then we total all the scores for the people in all the watermelon events, the queen competition, and the lip sync, and we crown a winner at the end.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so who was last year's winner?
Alpha Chi Omega.
Did they win like all of the events, or was it just?
I know they won the lip sync.
Okay.
I think it might have been Alpha Chi or Alpha Phi who won it last year,
Awesome.
over the course of the events and competitions.
Awesome. Very cool. What is Lambda's philanthropy? So what is this event raising money for?
This event is raising money for Feed America. It just changed this past year, actually over the summer, and it was the North American Food Drive, and there's no company for it. It was just an effort to help the hungry in North America. So Feed America is an established organization that Lambda Chi is just paired with.
Okay.
So, and we also focus that for mainly this semester, this fall, is our big effort towards Feeding America.
Okay, so do you guys get to actually work hands-on with them, or is this just kind of you raise funds and then you send a check to them or that kind of thing?
For our part on a local chapter, we usually raise money or we can raise food, actual product donation, and we bring that to Gleaners Food Bank, who we work with. That's the local food bank for the Indianapolis area. And so we usually just write them a check, and then they transfer it and give us like how much that would be in pounds of food.
Okay.
So that's
Awesome.
our part on the local end.
What a great cause. Is there anything new this year for Watermelon Bust?
We have a couple of big things that our advertising is new this year. One is we created a whole new event. So if you've ever gone to the carnival before and there's like the hammer toss, or like you have to like hit a hammer as hard as you can down and see how high it goes and like who has the strongest hit. We're doing that this year, except replacing the hammer with a watermelon. So 7 girls will come up and throw a watermelon as hard as they can at the bottom, and whoever gets the highest score and wins the event. And then our other big thing is that we actually got an official trophy for Watermelon Bust this year. It's about 20 pounds, I believe, total, and it's just real tall, and it's got a bulldog eating a watermelon at the top. And it's like a pretty exciting way to get people like more excited about the competition.
That's great. What have you guys done for advertising for the event?
It's actually been pretty big, and some people may not even realize it up front. Social media has been our biggest outlet. So we've used Twitter before, but we have a whole strategy behind it as far as daily tweets. We have a hashtag Watermelon Bust Facts, Bust 2013. And then we're doing product giveaways. We have 3 big sponsors. It's Hotbox, Insomnia, and Kenra Professional. And actually, if you tweet today at our Twitter handle, then you can win free Kenra product. You'll be put in a pool for it. So it's really just social media, getting the numbers up on our pages, and letting everybody know about the events ahead of time. So that's what we got.
How were you guys able to get Kenra, Insomnia, and Hotbox to sponsor you?
It's just going out and asking, really.
Okay.
Sponsorships. I work for Kenra, so it's easy for me to go through the process. And I know our philanthropy chairman, he went and asked Hotbox. We've worked with them in the past, and same thing with Insomnia. So really it's just a matter of going out and making the time and the presentation to get a sponsor.
Okay, that's awesome. Mark, what is your specific role in Watermelon Bust this year?
Okay, so this year I am co-hosting the event, and my title is actually called Bust Boy, and there's also Melon Man. And the 2 of us host this year. We're in like watermelon suits, and we'll basically MC the event. And so basically we'll make sure the event runs smoothly, and we'll make sure like all the sororities in the competitions go through, and then we like host the lip syncs and announce the queen competitions, ask the questions, and then basically add comic relief when necessary.
Are you nervous about this at all?
I did it a little bit last year, so I had a little bit of experience. We got one new guy doing it this year, so I feel a little bit better since I'm experienced with it, but kind of now I'm like the one in charge, and we have somebody I'm actually training somebody else. It's a little bit more pressure, but I'm
Okay.
excited about it, definitely.
Good. Kevin, what's your role?
My role is watermelon bus chair. So that's working with behind the scenes of everything. So he asks the questions for Queen competition, I create them. I have to help go out and get sponsors. I organize what events we're going to have, the materials we need. So I'm basically telling people what to do. I work really close with our philanthropy chair, and just anything from getting the stage built to getting a sponsor.
Okay. And this year, I know there's kind of been an overlap of events with Butler Palooza happening on Saturday night. So how did you guys handle that?
Well, I went to the meeting to decide when all the Greek House's events were last semester. And so Butler Palooza actually wasn't assigned yet to a particular date. So we thought we were going to be clear. And then we found this out a couple weeks ago that it starts at 7, I believe. Our event originally started at 6. And so as a matter of early last week, or late last week, we decided to change it to 2 p.m. So, and that's where our strong social media came into play of 2 p.m. We were able to not have the banners created in time. So we had 2 p.m. on the banners. It was about as long as we notified them at a certain amount, so it didn't get mixed up with the banners at all.
Okay.
So that's how that happened. It was a headache that was solved quickly, though.
Good. That's great. And then what is your favorite part about Watermelon Bus? This is for both of you.
Oh man, that's a tough question, honestly. I don't know. I like the excitement that comes from it, and then just being able to do goofy things like this. Like for one, everybody takes a watermelon to class, but obviously I had a hand injury this year, so we all just kind of like find a way to promote it and just have fun with it, and like the whole house gets involved. So just like walking around campus and just seeing like all 80 guys in our house like carrying like decorated watermelons to class. I think it's hilarious, and I think it's just an awesome week that everybody's like really excited about.
Good.
My favorite part, hands down, is the actual event, because that event ends up running itself. So from my organizational standpoint, that's really nice. But really the amount of people seeing our front lawn, just having a great time, usually in the sun, and it's eating watermelon, it's playing games, it's just so much fun. The excitement levels are just so high, and everybody can feel that and gain that energy.
That's awesome. Does Lambda have any other philanthropic events that they do throughout the semester, or any other causes that you raise money for?
Yeah, so again, this one is the big one for the Feed America, and to actually help raise money for that, we have Haunted House for Halloween, and then next semester for Teeter Totter, we change who we donate the money to, and that goes to Peyton Manning's Children's Hospital.
Okay, do you guys actually get to work with the Children's Hospital? Like, do you actually get to work with the kids or have an opportunity to do that?
It depends on how we organize it, but we have in the past. Last year, we just had a day dedicated during the Teeter Totter week for children to come from the hospital, and they were able to ride the Teeter Totter. I've never seen a kid's face light up like it did when you're expecting a 5-foot Teeter Totter, and they see a 36-foot long Teeter Totter. So that was one of my favorite days, of Teeter Totter.
That's great. Do you guys volunteer outside of your own philanthropies, like in our community?
Yeah, I would say we do quite a few different events. We work with Gleaners Food Bank, which is actually one of the food banks from Feed America. We also do like several other service events that usually change per semester. All the guys in our house are required to get 15 service hours per semester, so we end up having about 1,000 service hours logged total. So that'll like include anything from like helping with like runs, different food banks in the area, and helping with other like events on Butler's campus to like log service hours.
Okay.
Yeah, and a few other ones to give an example would be we help process food at Gleaners Food Bank. We work with Wheeler Mission. We have a weekly setup date where about 6 guys go and they help serve the food out. And then the other one that's weekly is dog walking at the local shelter, I believe. It's a new one for us this year.
Great. Is there anything that you guys would tell incoming students or students who have transferred about Butler's Greek community?
I would say that Butler's Greek community, I think first of all, we're all here for the same reason. We all came to Butler to be students first. And Butler's Greek community is just an outlet, one of the very many outlets on Butler's campus to get involved and to give back to the community and to find a way to develop yourself. So I think there's an opportunity for everybody in Greek life, but if you're not interested in it, I think there's a ton of opportunities on Butler's campus too as well.
Yeah, I'm biased being in the Greek community, but mark it on a key point of development. I think it's I think on this campus it's the best way for many people to make themselves better people. And as far as social skills, organizational skills, just you name it, and usually the Greek House has some sort of outlet for you to improve your skills or build new ones.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you, Mark and Kevin, for joining me today. That concludes segment 1 of the Butler Beat. I'm Steph Wolfred. Coming up on segment 2, Butler students spending a semester in Washington, D.C. Ryan Lovelace will be talking about the Washington, D.C. Learning Program.
Welcome back to the Butler Beat. I'm Ryan Lovelace. Each semester, several Butler students travel to Washington, D.C., where they spend the entire semester working and studying in our nation's capital. Joining me today is Dr. Morrell, the director of Butler's Washington Learning Program. Thanks for joining me, Dr. Morrell.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
So tell me a little bit about the D.C. program and how it started.
The DC program started in the spring of 2001. We have sent almost 200 students total through the program, almost 300 actually students through the program, students from every major. It's the only domestic study away program we have at Butler. Students are enrolled as regular Butler students, but they spend most of their time interning at an internship site that's specifically geared toward what their interests are. We have an internship coordinator who lives in the area who helps people find their internships. If they want to find their own internship, they can do that as well. We've had people, we usually have somewhere between 12 and 20 go each semester.
Okay. And I know I participated in the program last semester and
Right.
everything like that, but where are some of the interns working at
Oh,
this
my goodness.
semester?
This semester we have, interestingly, we have an intern in John Boehner's office, the current Speaker of the House and the former Minority Leader, and an intern in Nancy Pelosi's office, the current Minority Leader and the former Speaker of the House. So we're trying to bridge across the aisle with those interns. We have lots of congressmen's and senators' offices, of course, but it's not just for people who are interested in politics. We've had arts administration majors, we have pharmacy majors do rotations at places like the National Institute for Health, the FDA, various hospitals around, the So Others Might Eat, which is a multi-service center for the homeless in Washington. We have a student this semester at Best Kids, which is a not-for-profit which attempts to match kids in the foster system with adult mentors because they don't have stable adults in their lives. We have interns at the D.C. Attorney General's office. We've had interns at Merrill Lynch. We've had interns at Boeing. We've had interns at all various arts and museum type places. We've had interns at NPR, at C-SPAN, MSNBC, interns at Pond's Law Firm. We've had interns at a public relations firm, interns at the zoo, and you might think, well, that was probably a pre-vet major. Well, no, that person was actually a public relations major, and so she was placed in the media relations office. We've had people at the American Federation for Teachers. We've had people at the National Dance Educators Association. We have people at lots of not-for-profits. I'm working on internships at the FDIC and at the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers using connections with Butler alums. So there's just a whole raft. Almost any major can be accommodated with a meaningful internship that would really help them in their career path.
Okay. And where do students stay when they live in Washington?
We have an arrangement with an organization called Washington Intern Student Housing, which houses interns all over the city. Our students all stay in an apartment building that's, if you know D.C., it's in Northwest. It's quite close to the zoo. In apartments, all apartment style, and everybody in the building is an undergraduate intern from somewhere. I was just with the students about a week ago out there, and they have students from James Madison University, from Texas Tech, from Virginia Tech, from Butler, of course, and from Center College, with whom we have a partnership arrangement. The students also get to take a couple of evening classes to fill out their schedule, and the center students are all in that group as well.
Okay. And are those classes once weekly, twice weekly?
They meet once a week in the evening, and both of the instructors, Ivo Spalatin is our internship coordinator. He teaches one of the courses on foreign policy. He's a veteran of, I think, 20 years working as on the Hill and then 7 years in the State Department. And he teaches one, and then the other one is taught by an adjunct art history professor from Georgetown who teaches one on the public arts of Washington, where the students tell me they don't spend very much time in class. They spend most of the time out looking at museums and monuments and portraits and sculptures and all sorts of things like that. And you learn a lot about the city along the way. The two instructors know that the students spend Monday through Thursday all day in their internship, so there's not a lot of out-of-class work that goes along with that. And it's they're elective credits. They're both 300 level credits, which is good for everybody because everybody has to have however many 300 level credits to graduate. So the students enjoy those classes. We also have three weekend classes that are 1 hour pass-fail classes where either a Butler faculty member or a center faculty member will fly in and teach a class for the weekend. This fall we have one on citizenship, journalism, and democracy. And then we also have there's one on 9/11, taught by a center faculty member, and then there's another one on educational reform. In the spring, we're going to have one on baseball in the district, which is sort of a hot political topic. So.
Right. I know we had one on Russian-U.S. relations and actually got to go to the Russian embassy,
right,
which was
very cool.
So what are some of the other things that students can do in and around Washington?
Well, of course, there's always things to do, and there are so many things that don't cost anything. All the Smithsonian's, of course, are free, so you can go to a museum every weekend, all weekend long, and still not see them all. But students also, the apartment building in which they live is walking distance to Adams Morgan, which is a really nice nightlife area. Students like that, lots of restaurants and bars and whatnot. It's also just one metro spot from DuPont Circle. You can get an easy bus to Georgetown. The Butler DC Alumni Association is also very active with these students and usually invites them for something. In the past, of course, we've had viewing parties for the basketball, but they've taken them to baseball games, they've taken them to basketball games. If the Utah Jazz come to town and Gordon Hayward is playing, they'll invite them to that. Last year when Butler played at George Washington, there was a pregame party that all the students were invited to. I suspect there'll be something like that when we play at Georgetown. A lot of networking goes on. We send the students with business cards so they can give them out to everybody they know. All those students who are in the building with them are going to graduate and be in the workforce too, so they're good networking contacts as well. Right,
okay. And I know Butler students are probably used to dorm life and that sort of eating kind of plan that goes on in dorm life. So how is DC different from that?
One of the nice things about DC compared to study abroad is that you can take all of your financial aid with you. You're enrolled as a regular Butler student. The only difference is you pay your housing to to WISH rather than housing to Butler, but it's just billed through your regular Butler account. And then you're responsible for your food. DC can be an expensive place to eat or it can be a cheap place to eat, depending on how you want to do it. Some groups of students in apartments will cook. Others will go to happy hour and get half-price appetizers, and that's dinner. So it just varies. You can have it be expensive or not so expensive.
Okay, and what would you estimate would be about the cost of the program for a typical Butler student?
I think it's only slightly more. You'll have transportation costs to get there. Most people fly. You don't want to take a car unless you have a relative where you can park the car because there's no place to park. So typically you have the transportation costs to get there and back. Most people fly. The housing is only slightly more expensive, about a couple $100 more expensive than it is to be housed on campus. And so really it's just your food. So I would say it probably costs you maybe $500 more to spend a semester there, exclusive of the travel, than it would cost you to spend it here. Of course, sometimes students will get on the bus or the train and go to New York or go to Boston or something like that too. So it can add up, but you can do it pretty cheaply as well.
Okay, and how can students learn more about the program if they're interested to know more little things like that?
The program is run through my office, which is the Chase office, the Center for High Achievement and Scholarly Engagement. It's one of the programs that we run. There is actually an interest session today at noon. Today is Friday at noon. But for students who are, particularly for students who are interested in going next semester. But if you're interested and you can't make the interest session, then you can come by our office in Jordan Hall 153 and ask either Kathy Holland, who's my assistant, or ask me about the program. If you're interested in going next semester, the deadline for applications is September 25th. At that point, Mr. Spalaton will come to campus and interview the students who are planning to go, so he gets a really good idea of exactly what kind of experience they're looking for.
Okay, and why should students join? What do they take away after participating?
It's an interesting thing. First of all, it's a little bit difficult to get Butler students to leave campus. They like being at Butler, and I understand that. The study abroad people have the same problem. It's a little different from study abroad in that you're more like 3/4 of yourself is in the working world. So you get up in the morning, you put on your business casual, you get on the metro, and you go to work along with all these other people. You're still a student, but you're getting usually 6 hours, anywhere from 3 to 9 hours of credit for your internship, depending on your department. But it's sort of a halfway bridge to the working world. And so you see sort of how it works. You see how the world works. You see learn a lot about networking. You learn a lot about our nation's capital as well. A number of our participants in the program have secured jobs in the Washington area. Most students who go love being there, and they can't wait to go back. I know you stayed all summer. So most students can't wait to go back, and Mr. Spalaton is very good at networking and helping students find permanent positions when they're ready to graduate. So I think it's an enriching, broadening experience, and it's great for whatever your career is. Some people go and find out, oh, I don't think I want to do this. Well, that's great information too. Other people go and think they wanted to be in some sort of for-profit and then discover they love the nonprofit world. So there are all sorts of things one can learn.
Okay, well, great. Thank you. I know I enjoyed it, and thank you for joining me today.
Well, thank you for having me.
I'm Ryan Lovelace, and you've been watching The Butler Beat.